All right, everyone, get ready for a wild ride because today we're diving headfirst into the world of AI CEOs. Yeah, we're talking about a study where researchers decided to put GPT-4, like this super advanced AI, in charge of a simulated car company.
It sounds like something straight out of science fiction, right?
Totally. But it gets even crazier when you see the results. It really flips the script on what we think we know about leadership. So to break down all this AI CEO craziness, we've got three main points to explore. First up, we're going to see how AI can actually be better than human CEOs, at least when it comes to number crunching and making things run smoothly.
And then we'll get into those crazy, unpredictable events that always seem to pop up, like when a pandemic hits out of nowhere. Turns out those curveballs are like kryptonite for AI. They really show why human skills like intuition and thinking on your feet are so important.
And last but not least, we'll talk about this cool idea of having both an AI and a human running the show together, like a dynamic duo.
Yeah, like imagine the AI handling all the data stuff while the human CEO focuses on the big picture, the strategy, that kind of stuff.
Exactly. So it's all about combining the best of both worlds. All right, let's jump into our first big insight. AI blowing human CEOs out of the water in those predictable situations. So what made GPT-4 such a rock star CEO in this simulation?
Well, a couple of things really stood out in this study. First off, GPT-4 can process massive amounts of data like it's nothing, and it can spot patterns that we humans would probably miss. Remember, the researchers built this super realistic simulation of the US car industry. They used real world data, everything from sales numbers to market trends, even how COVID impacted things.
Wow, they really went all out, didn't they?
Oh, yeah, and GPT-4 could just sift through all that info and make these super efficient decisions about designing cars, setting prices, marketing, you name it.
It's like having this genius analyst working 24/7, always looking for that tiny edge that'll give you a huge advantage.
You got it. And the results are pretty clear. GPT-4 consistently made choices that led to bigger profits and grabbed more market share. It even beat out experienced business execs on a regular basis. Like, in one case, the AI CEO boosted profits by a whopping 20% compared to humans.
Whoa, 20%. That's a serious difference. Sounds like AI can really dominate when things are predictable and there's tons of data to work with. It's almost like having a chess grandmaster calling the shots, always thinking steps ahead and predicting what the competition will do.
Exactly. It's all about strategy, but, as we'll see in our next point, things get a little trickier when those unexpected, those black swan events come into play.
Okay, now you've got me curious. Let's dive into these black swan events and why they're such a challenge for our AI CEOs.
So picture this. You've put together this amazing business plan. You've analyzed all the trends and historical data. Everything's smooth sailing. Your profits are through the roof. And then bam, something totally unexpected hits. A pandemic sweeps the globe. There's some major political shakeup. A new technology comes out of nowhere and disrupts everything. These are what we call black swan events, those rare, totally unpredictable things that can just throw your perfectly crafted plans right out the window.
Yeah, it's like you build this awesome sandcastle and then a giant wave comes crashing in and wipes it all out.
Exactly. And these black swan events, that's where AI systems, even the super smart ones like GPT-4, they start to struggle. You see, they're trained on all this past data and they work within these set rules and boundaries. So when something completely out of the blue happens, they don't know how to adapt.
So AI might be awesome in those predictable situations, but when things get crazy and unpredictable, their weaknesses start to show. This is where those unique human skills really come into play, wouldn't you say?
100%. The researchers actually threw some curveballs into their simulation, to mimic the chaos that happened with COVID. Suddenly, consumer demand went haywire, supply chains got messed up, the whole market went into a tailspin, and guess what? GPT-4 faltered. It was so focused on those short-term wins that it couldn't adjust to the sudden change.
It's like the AI built this amazing race car, perfectly tuned for a smooth track, but then it suddenly had to navigate an off-road obstacle course.
Perfect analogy. Now, the human participants, on the other hand, they actually did pretty well navigating those choppy waters.
Interesting. So what was it about those humans? What skills helped them beat the AI during those turbulent times?
Well, the ones who performed the best, they took a more cautious approach. They focused on long-term stability and being flexible instead of going for those quick wins. They diversified what they were selling, avoided getting locked into rigid contracts, built up their cash reserves. They weren't afraid to ditch the plan and go with their gut, even if the data said otherwise.
It's amazing how human intuition and experience, those things you can't really quantify, become so crucial when the world throws you a curveball. This really shows the limits of relying solely on data for leadership.
For sure. And it leads us perfectly to our third key insight.
Yeah.
That idea of having both an AI and a human leading together, blending the AI's analytical power with human adaptability and intuition.
I'm really intrigued by this concept. What would this hybrid leadership actually look like in the real world, and how would it help businesses?
Well, imagine this. The AI is handling all the data crunching, spotting trends, suggesting the best strategies based on mountains of information. And at the same time, you've got the human CEO focusing on the bigger picture, setting the vision, establishing the company's values, building relationships, and making those critical judgment calls when the unexpected happens.
So like an AI co-pilot who analyzes the flight data, maps the best route, and warns about turbulence, but the human pilot's still in control, making the final decisions and keeping everyone safe.
Exactly. The AI brings the data-driven insights, but the human provides the judgment, empathy, that ability to deal with those unpredictable situations that AI just can't handle yet.
This hybrid model sounds incredibly powerful. And the researchers didn't stop there. They even suggested that AI could create digital twin simulations of companies and entire markets.
Yeah, those digital twins would basically let CEOs test out different strategies in a virtual world. They could see the impact of launching new products, making acquisitions, even dealing with global pandemics, all before making any real-world decisions. It's like having a high-tech crystal ball to guide your leadership.
That's mind-blowing. It really highlights the potential of this whole hybrid leadership approach.
Yeah.
But like with any powerful technology, there are always going to be some complexities and nuances to consider. Maybe we can dig into those a bit more in the next part of our deep dive.
Oh, absolutely. There's always more to uncover. And while this AI CEO experiment is super interesting, we got to remember that it was all about a big corporation. It's not like a magic formula that'll work for every type of leader out there.
That's a good point. Leading a small startup or a nonprofit, that's a whole different ballgame. You need different skills and a different way of making decisions.
Exactly. And even within the corporate world, how AI fits into leadership will probably vary from industry to industry. Like those sectors that are already swimming in data, finance, or tech, they might be the first ones to jump on board with AI CEOs, or at least start using AI tools to make big choices.
Yeah, it makes sense. They're already using algorithms and data to shape their strategies. So as we imagine this future where AI plays a bigger role in leadership, are there any potential downsides or challenges we should watch out for?
Definitely. One big one is the whole issue of bias in algorithms. AI systems learn from data, right? So if that data has those societal biases that already exist, well, those biases can get amplified in the AI's decision making.
That's a crucial point. We can't just assume AI is going to be neutral. We have to make sure it's developed responsibly with safeguards to prevent bias and ensure fairness.
100%. Another thing to consider is the potential for job displacement. As AI gets more and more advanced, it could automate tasks that humans used to do.
That brings up some serious questions about the future of work. You might need retraining and upskilling programs to help people adapt to these changes. That's a whole other deep dive right there. But for now, let's stick to our current topic. How do we find that sweet spot where we're using the power of AI but also preserving the things that make human leadership so valuable?
The key is integration and augmentation, not replacement. We should see AI as a tool that makes human decisions better, not something that takes over completely. Those human qualities, intuition, empathy, the ability to connect with and inspire people, those will always be essential for good leadership.
So it's about creating a partnership, that dynamic duo where AI and human leaders work together, each one bringing their A game.
Exactly. And that requires a change in how we think about leadership. Leaders can't see AI as a threat. They have to embrace it as a powerful collaborator. They need to develop what we might call digital fluency, a
Sure.
basic understanding of what AI can and can't do, and the ability to use those AI tools effectively.
It's like becoming bilingual, fluent in data, but also a master of human connection. What an exciting and complex future we're heading towards.
Yeah.
This whole exploration has really given us a lot to think about when it comes to the evolving nature of leadership.
It has, and it's just the tip of the iceberg. This conversation about AI and how it's going to impact our lives is only just beginning. But as we wrap up this deep dive, what key takeaways do you hope our listeners will walk away with?
I think the biggest one is that the future of leadership isn't about choosing sides, humans versus machines. It's about humans and machines working together to build a better world. A world that's more innovative, more efficient, and ultimately more focused on human needs. This experiment showed us how much potential AI has to improve decision-making, but it also reminded us that those human skills, intuition, adaptability, ethical judgment, those are still super important. It's a good reminder that as technology keeps advancing, our human qualities become even more valuable.
Beautifully said. And I'd add that this discussion about the future of leadership is something we all need to be a part of. Whether you're a CEO, a manager, an employee, or just someone who's curious about the world, we need to grapple with these questions and think critically about how AI is going to shape our lives. We have a responsibility to make sure AI is developed and used in a way that benefits all of humanity.
Absolutely. We can't just sit back and let technology dictate the future. We need to be active participants in shaping that future, making sure it aligns with our values and aspirations. So to our listeners, I challenge you to think about this. What role do you see AI playing in your own life and career? And how can you get ready to thrive in this rapidly changing landscape?
Yeah, those are some really great questions to think about. This whole idea of AI and leadership working together, it's still kind of a new frontier, but this research definitely gives us a glimpse into what the future could hold.
It does. And as we move closer to this hybrid model of leadership, it makes you wonder, what skills should up-and-coming leaders be focusing on to really thrive in this new world?
It's almost like we're entering a new renaissance or something. Leaders need to be tech savvy, but also have this deep understanding of human nature.
You hit the nail on the head. That was one of the big takeaways from the study. Remember how those top-performing human participants, they really prioritized adaptability and resilience? Right. They knew that in a world that's constantly changing, being able to roll with the punches and adjust to those unexpected challenges, that's crucial.
Exactly. They had that strategic foresight, and that's going to be a must have skill for any leader.
So it's not just about knowing the tech, it's about those timeless leadership qualities too. Vision, the ability to connect with people on a deeper level.
For sure. And another skill that really stood out was that ability to balance data driven insights with good old fashioned judgment. The AI was amazing at crunching numbers and analyzing data, but it didn't have that nuanced understanding of human emotions, ethics, all that.
Right, like AI might tell you one thing, but your gut tells you something different.
Exactly. So human leaders are going to need to be able to interpret those AI insights and also recognize their limitations.
It's like being a translator. You're fluent in data, but you're also a master of human experience.
I like that analogy. And last but not least, this research really highlighted the importance of digital fluency. Leaders don't need to be coding wizards, but they do need to understand what AI can do and how to work effectively with those AI-powered tools.
It's about seeing AI as a partner, not a competitor, like a powerful ally to help navigate the complexities of the 21st century business world.
Exactly, a partner in problem solving, in innovation.
And this whole idea of AI and humans collaborating, it's not just happening in the business world. We're seeing it everywhere, from healthcare to education to even the creative arts.
It's true, it's really an exciting time to witness how AI is reshaping the world around us.
So as we wrap up our deep dive today, I think the biggest takeaway is this. The future of leadership isn't about humans versus machines. It's about humans and machines working together. We can create a world that's more efficient, more innovative, and ultimately a world that's more human-centered.
Well said. And who knows, maybe our next deep dive will explore what it's actually like to work for one of these AI CEOs, what kind of company culture they create. It's a future full of possibilities and some really thought-provoking questions.
Absolutely. And as we step into this uncharted territory, one thing's for sure, it's going to be a wild ride.
Yeah.
And like always, we humans are ready to adapt and learn along the way.